What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 92, and we started this stuff on the back of our win over Udinese with Sampdoria at home at the Allianz Stadium. 12 games to go in the Serie A, desperately trying to cling on to top spot in the league right now, especially knowing now after I defeated a Bernabeu, this might be the only trophy up to grabs, yet we trail by 2 heading into the reverse fixture coming today in our third game. But we know it's going to be a tough task there to overcome the Galacticos. But again, we did it last year with Bayern Munich against Barcelona, trailing by 4. And then, of course, ended up winning it 5-4 over 2 legs. One of my greatest Champions League knockout turnarounds ever. But heading into the first game, Sampdoria at home, again, on the back of the win over Udinese. It's really strange because, like, the Serie A started off, like, the first half of the season was just, like, so congested, so tightly packed. I mean, it was unbelievable. Seriously, like, there was like 5 teams separated by 4 points. It was a really, really tightly congested first half of the season. But this does often happen in FIFA Career Mode, and I mention it quite often, but due to form in Career Mode and how overpowered it is, oftentimes you'll see one of the top dogs just absolutely capitulate, especially about midway through or early on into the stages of the second half of the season. That's exactly what has happened. Inter Milan have really fallen off the pace, and right now it's looking as though it might turn into a 2-horse race between us and last year's Serie A champions, AS Roma. Heading into the first game, needed to win this one, make it back-to-back wins and stay clear of Mourinho's men, and we would. Federico Chiesa got the first goal in the game and then set up our second, which was absolutely glorious. Yep, nice little ball roll and chip into the middle, and Dusan Vlahovic. I mean, you know, some strikers are better in the air than they are with their feet. That is true. Those are the target men. And of course, with Dusan being 6'3", it shouldn't come as much of a surprise. But this year, I don't think I'm over-exaggerating. I would say that around a third of his goals have come from the ball being in the air. Now, I know he scored with his feet there, an acrobatic effort, but I swear, this guy just does not lose aerial duels, man. He is unbelievable. The 2 best aerial players I've used in this year's FIFA, Vlahovic and Matthias de Ligt. And I suppose a close third, if you will, would of course be you-know-who, the shocker, Ivan Toney. But Vlahovic just does not lose aerial duels. And okay, fair enough, he was unmarked there, but he still got himself into the right area to be unmarked and to be free. His positioning when the ball is floating into the middle is just incredible. And then when he's combined with being 6'3", strong, good jump, aggressive, I mean, it's no wonder that, again, around a third of his goals this year, or maybe a quarter to a third, I would say, have come from either his head or just in general when the ball's in the air. I mean, 2 of his goals this year have come from acrobatic kicks, and that should say it all. Anyway, following game, Monza away, taking on a side who, of course, right now, we would consider this one a banker. We have had quite a few poor slip-ups this season, but going away from home here, you would have seen the league table pre-game as we enter March. 3 clear of AS Roma, and now I think it's 9 clear of Inter Milan as well. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. For a long time, it was looking as though like 1 of 5 teams could win the Serie A this year. Us, Inter, AC Milan, Roma, and possibly even Torino, who weren't even that far off for a while, and of course they beat us back-to-back this year as well. But now, no doubt about it, you know, it's definitely become a 2, possibly 3-horse race at most. So right now, I'm looking over my shoulder, and I'm not really thinking much about Inter Milan and AC Milan. I'm just looking at the closest team to me, that's AS Roma. We're 3 points clear, so all I can think is just this, you know, keep them at bay, and we'll win the title. Be very surprised if Inter can come back from a 9-point deficit with only 10 games to go. We beat Monza by 3-0. Very comfortable victory that one as well. Bergwijn getting our first, and it was so fitting as well. Pessina gets his first goal for the club. We signed him in January on a free transfer, still available in the free agents pool for squad depth. Gets his first goal. Who does it come against? The team he came through the academy with. Yet Pessina is a Monza Academy graduate, so of course I'd show respect there. Come the goal, hitting the back of the net. But it's just so typical, isn't it? Player scoring his first goal for his new club against his former team when he'd been without a club for half a season. He doesn't get much game time, yet of course the first goal he's going to score is away at the team he made his professional debut with. Anyway, following game, and this was it. Real Madrid, second leg, Champions League, last 16. 3 straight wins for the old lady, taking on Carlo Ancelotti's side. We finally got into some decent form, and I was thinking, right, this is the game where we pull off the turnaround. This is the game where we pull off the big win we need and make it through the quarters. I did it last year with Bayern Munich against Barcelona in the quarterfinals. I was trailing by a goal, 4-3. We won it 2-0 and went through 5-4. Same energy, boys. Same energy. Don't give up anything and get the goals we need. Didn't start off that way. Didn't start off that way at all. Yet the Hungarian with the opener for Real Madrid after we were denied early. We were down by a goal, and that now made the deficit 3 once again. So it's 2-5 over 2 legs, if you will. And it then became 6-2 over 2 legs. Yup, brilliant ball into Baumgartner after a ball out Donnarumma, and right before the break. Well, last year I pulled off, again, as I mentioned earlier, perhaps my greatest Champions League knockout comeback ever. But I didn't think Lionel was going to strike twice. We were 4 goals down over 2 legs, and it was just one of those games where nothing was going right. I mean, I kept fighting out there. Second half began, I made a fast start, had the ball in the back of the net 7 minutes after the restart, but it was disallowed for offside. This was really tight as well. Just one of those games where just the fine margins aren't on your side. It's the right decision, but it was very tight indeed. We were still down by 2. I was pushing, I was pressing, I was doing everything I could, but Real Madrid's defense, to be fair, was really strong. I then got an injury for Fagioli as well, and again, it was just one of those games where nothing was going right. And on the stroke of the hour mark, after I surrendered possession with Destiny Udogie, Real come on the quick attack, and Tchouameni, who really ran the show at the Bernabeu, was having a quietly impressive game here in Turin. Got their third, and that was going to do it. I pulled off a heck of a comeback last season. Lightning was not going to strike twice. Juventus 0, Real 3, and 7-2 over 2 legs. And again, it just didn't seem to matter what I was doing. I just couldn't get anything going for me. I was getting some chances, I was causing some problems, I was asking some questions, but Real stood up to every single one. Their defense was so strong. Courtois bailed them out later on as well. I did get a consolation goal through Moise Kean with 2.5 minutes to go, but I mean, that celebration kind of says it all. Stumbling when it matters most. Final score, Juventus 1, Real Madrid 3 over 2 legs, 7-3 Galacticos, and that's it. Our progress in the Champions League ends in the first knockout round in devastating fashion. Real show their class, and well, it says it right there. We were taught some harsh lessons in that game. Thankfully, Fagioli's injury was just a bruise. If you want to call it this, it was the saving grace of what was otherwise a disastrous night in Turin. And that's it. It is over. Our progress in the Champions League ends there in the first knockout round. And, you know, it is so funny because I say this all the time, but, you know, I often talk about it. Topping the group in the Champions League is a bonus because you know you're going to face a runner-up. And, of course, that means there's a chance you're going to miss out on facing one of Europe's elite, if you will. But I say it all the time. The Champions League is Europe's elite. That's the whole point. So even if you do top the group, even if you do face a runners-up, there's still going to be a strong side waiting for you. You're not going to take on an Aylesbury United, if you will. And yes, I know I'm talking about the team that I went to one of my first football games with my dad with when I was a kid. Aylesbury United. Are they still going? Any of my southeast English followers, are they still going? Aylesbury United, the Ducks. But you know, you're not going to face, you know, a 7th tier English side. You're gonna face, you know, maybe like a Benfica or someone. It's still going to be really tough for you. And occasionally, you're going to face one of the big boys that didn't top their group and ended up finishing runners-up. I mean, what have we seen this year in the World Cup with Morocco? They topped their group. What's their reward? Spain! You know, you're going to face a really strong team anyway. So it was just one of the cases of the luck of the draw kind of costing me there. Yes, topping the group, but instead of facing, you know, a side who would have a better chance against Real Madrid, one of the favourites, and they knock us out comprehensively. 7-3 over 2 legs, and that now means it is all or nothing. Juventus, all or nothing. It's all on the league now. Yes, we've won the Super Coppa, but we shouldn't have even been there. It was the glitch that saw us into that one game final. I wouldn't have cared about it either if we had deserved to be there or not. But, you know, no one cares about the Super Coppa anyway. So it's all or nothing now. It's actually the Serie A or nothing this year. Embarrassingly, knocked out of the Coppa Italia early, humbled by Real Madrid. It's all or nothing on the Serie A now. So the following game and the final one today, Bologna back in Turin here in the league. Desperately needed to extend our winning run in the Serie A, and we do so. Really topsy-turvy game against Bologna here. Really topsy-turvy indeed, but eventually our quality shone through in the latter stages, as it often does really. And speaking of quality shining through in the latter stages, wait for it. Oh, there it was. If you read the title, you're waiting for this moment. You have to wait until the very final game and the very final goal. Yep, Yeboah comes off the bench for his first goal in the Juventus shirt. Signed him on transfer deadline day, and he gets our 5th in a 5-2 victory. But of course, it was the guy that got the assist that deserves the credit. Steven Bergwijn, who got our 4th goal with a Rabona assist. Let's just say, as I've said it before and I'll say it again, when I get beaten badly, I go into the next game and take out my anger on who's waiting for me. Sorry, Bologna, you were the unlucky team that was next up for me. Yep, 5-2, and it could have been more. Even so, dominant victory, and Lord knows we needed that to respond after the loss to Real Madrid. We now take a 5-point gap on AS Roma. We've got 11 clear of Inter Milan, 9 games to go. It's definitely a 2-horse race now. We've got 9-point gap on Roma. It's ours to lose, and we can't afford to lose it. Otherwise, it will be a trophyless first year at the Allianz Stadium. But that will end this episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.